Definitely a huge conversation around identity as well. Now, the remote working scale, you may have come across this. This is from Matt Mullenweg, who is the founder of or CEO of Automatic, whose product is WordPress. So fairly big company, fairly sizable. WordPress is used, as the basis of so many websites. And there's this fantastic interview. There's a link here that he did about talking about the 5 levels of remote working. And what we find as organizations were plunged into this, hybrid working or remote working due to the pandemic, that a lot of companies are stuck at level 2. And I still see this today in many organizations, even though we're months and months and years into this pandemic. There's still lots of interruptions, lots of meetings, and even more meetings on top of the other meetings. So people have back-to-backs now, literally worn out, and then do their work at night. So there's a lot of productivity anxiety there as well. And so there is, really a case for how do we make this more sustainable in the future, as hybrid working is here to stay, and we're adding more complexity with hybrid as well, because Automatic is actually a fully remote company. Now, if you want to know more about these 5 levels and what each level looks like and how to transcend them, you can download this from our website. There's more information there you can get. But it's just a really, really important one to think about. Well, where are we at and where do we want to go to? Because it doesn't mean you need to go to level 5. You can stay at level 3, and that is enough for your organization.
And there's so many variations that all companies are all different levels, across all different sectors. You can't even say, one sector is going in a certain direction. This is from healthcare to education to utilities to even tech. There's lots of different things that people are aiming for.
Yeah.
What we'd like to know is, so how many days a week do you want to be in the office? So, traditionally we were, most of us, all in 5 days a week. But ideally, how many days do we actually want to be? And it's interesting, the first person who responded said 0. When we first did this, we actually had a 1 to 5 scale. And some of the feedback was, where's the 0? Because I don't want to go back. Right?
I don't ever want to go back to the office. That's right. Yes, and there's quite a few more coming. And that this might not be your current reality. You might have a company that mandates you have to come in 2 days a week, and these are the days we've described to you. But really asking you, what is it that you want? What is the opportunity for you here to construct a life and a lifestyle that suits you? Because I think a lot of times previously we haven't had a chance to think about that, because it was 9 to 5 was the accepted norm. That is no longer true. So what does it mean?
Yeah, and it's probably worthwhile sharing. We've ran this poll in a number of organizations, a number of different countries, and even the limited results we've got here kind of echoes some of the broader polling that we've been doing as well. Is that most people might want to go back 2, maybe 3 days tops, but an awful lot of people now are saying 0 or 1. And that's some big challenges for organizations, because interestingly, when we've ran this with some more senior leaders, the numbers are up near the 4s and 5s. So there's also a bit of a challenge of what's going on, depending on where you are in the organization as well.
Yeah, and indeed, very, very few people overall in the curve will be wanting to go back 4 or 5. Like the real bell curve is the 2s and 3s. And I'm really so glad we've put the 0 in there, because you can see, this small audience, and it's starting to move. That's a trend we haven't seen before, where people are like, actually, it's never, I don't ever want to go back, which is just,
if you did have to go back, so even the 0s, so if you were kind of said, well, you do have to come back in, what would be your preferred office days? And so within the polling, you should be able to rank these. So if you just put, what would be your preferred day, kind of down to some of those other days. It's interesting to see, if you are going to go back in,
a big gap.
What days is that going to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of, at the moment, that's sort of Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And
Intense week, yeah. And Wednesday is the strongest one.
it's interesting that, that sort of, that beginning and end of the week, that's, traditionally that would be when potentially, the sprints are starting, or you've got your initial team meeting for the week ahead, or on Friday, there's maybe some more social stuff. But
right.
we see this again and again, that it's that midweek that people want to come in. And the consequences for that, if you think from a logistics and buildings point of view, in fact, even from a society transport point of view, if you've got everyone who wants to come in on a Tuesday and Wednesday, and does that mean you have to still have the same size of office space if everybody's all coming in those days? Does your peak rush hours only happen midweek, but actually on a Monday and Friday is more of a weekend timetable? The societal impacts are really, really big when we start to do this at scale. And what we're going to come on to soon is that we really have done this at scale. This is happening worldwide now, and organizations across all sectors. And interesting to say that that Wednesday is the winner again, Christiane.
Yeah, it is. I can see why.